What's up, everybody, and welcome to the One of Us Community Podcast. This will be mini pod number 2. These are just a series of smaller episodes, shorter form, that I like to do just to kind of get some things off my chest, discuss some topics that have come up in the streaming communities and the One of Us community, and maybe answer some questions. So going into this, planning this today, my original intention was to talk about stream etiquette. So that was a topic that had come up a couple of times, and we said, hey, let's do a mini pod on stream etiquette. I'll cover, some of the major topics of stream etiquette, and try to impart some of my knowledge that I've gained over the years of spending time in streaming communities. So I opened it up to our Discord chat, which, if you're not there, One of Us Discord, GG, you know what I mean. And I got so many questions that it almost became like its own episode, right? So I gave them the topic. I said, hey, stream etiquette is the topic. Give me any questions. And I'm looking right now, even after I sorted through a whole bunch of them, got rid of some repeats and things like that, I'm looking at a page worth of questions. So we're going to shift this episode a little bit, and I think this might be indicative of what we're going to do going forward. So I'm thinking now for the mini pods, the main episodes will still be interviewing members of the community, the same we only do. But the mini pods are going to take on a sort of question and answer forum. So that's one of the reasons why we're actually recording this live right now on Mixer. But going forward, I think what I'll do is I'll pick a topic, I'll post it to the community, get their questions, and I'll just go through and kind of answer questions, obviously with my own opinions. So disclaimer. Everything you hear in here, these are my opinions, my thoughts. These, the typical, these do not represent the thoughts and opinions of the One of Us community. But these are things that I think are kind of universally true for a lot of people that are in the streaming community, in the streaming industry. And I think it can help a lot of newer broadcasters, as well as, more veteran broadcasters that want to understand how other streamers are doing what they do. So, without further ado, we're going to hop into it. And the first question comes from Robert M. Catalano, and he asks, why doesn't follow for follow work? I see this a lot on Twitter, especially, but it does pop up every once in a while in Mixer, especially in smaller, like newer streamers' channels. They don't have a lot of viewers. They'll have someone come in and be like, hey, follow for follow. And what that means for people that don't know is they're basically saying, hey, if you follow me, I'll follow you. And this doesn't work because you're not creating a follower, you're gaining a number. Whereas if you're out there making content and somebody comes in and they enjoy your content and they follow you for that reason, then you've gained a follower. That person is following you. They're not following you because you went and clicked on a heart on their page. And typically what happens in those types of situations is that person says, hey, follow for follow. You go follow them, they follow you, and then 2 days later they unfollow you. So they're just gaining followers. Even if they don't unfollow you, they're never going to come view your content. They're using you for that number. Like that's all it's there for. It's not creating a connection with the person. It's not creating a connection with you. It's not creating a connection with your content. So typically follow for follower is just empty follows. Tingles asks, how do you deal with chat trolls? So I see this from two sides, right? Because I am both a streamer and I am also a moderator in several channels. So I've kind of got to handle it in two different ways. So from a streaming aspect, what I do is when I see a chat troll, it's a really quick analysis. You've got to decide what level of trolling is this. Is this fun trolling? Is this someone coming in, having a good time, making some jokes, being a bit of a troll? God knows I can be a bit of a troll sometimes, every once in a while. Or is this someone being like truly malicious that is there to be toxic to your community? If it's the latter, if you can tell that this person is there to be toxic, it's a ban. You don't, in my opinion, you don't want, if that's not the kind of community that you're trying to build, you don't want that in your community. Toxicity is contagious. And if you allow one person to be toxic and hateful and things like that in your community, other people in the community are going to see that and they'll be like, yeah, this is okay. So-and-so is fine with it. The streamer's fine with it. You know, I could be like this to fit in. The other side of it is just trying to understand if they're having fun. If they're having fun, then I'll poke fun back at them and see how they handle it. If somebody's going to come in and try to troll me, but they can't handle being trolled back, then chances are it's going to become an abrasive, toxic relationship. And chances are I'll time them out and I'll say, hey, listen, if you're going to come in here and you know, bust balls, you need to be able to take it as well as give it. Now, from the moderator standpoint, it's, I think, a little trickier because it's not your content that you're controlling. So you've kind of got to feel out the streamer that you're modding for and understand what they allow, what they don't allow. So if, you know, some people, you know, Rob's a good example. If someone comes in and asks for a shout out in Rob's channel, he doesn't necessarily push them away. He gives a shout out because he's like, hey, you know what? You're here. You know, appreciate you. This and that. It's not the best way to go about getting a shout out, but whatever. So you're not gonna enact the ban hammer on that. Other streamers see that as self-promotion and they don't want it because, again, that's one of those situations where that person's coming in just for the shout out. They're not coming in to make friends with you. They're not coming in to make a connection with you. They're just there to use you to get them more I don't know, exposure. So then that's usually a timeout with a warning or a ban. Again, it's a discretionary thing. Curly Dino says, how do you deal with people that mention your personal life? So this is one that I personally have paid attention to since I was pretty new to streaming. Just because I didn't ever want any of that coming back to me, you know, later down the road. But, you know, one of the decisions is you decide what personal information you put on the internet, right? So I made sure that, you know, my stream, Facebook and Instagram and all of that stuff was not linked to my personal. I've done things like, you know, you try to hide if your email pops up on screen when you're streaming, things like that. You've got to do what you can do to maintain your anonymity to an extent. I mean, obviously, you're broadcasting your face on the internet. It's not foolproof. But there's things you do. But I think when people start to mention that and say, hey, you know, I know who you are, and this and that and that, it's got to be, you know, just a warning. Be like, hey, it's kind of weird. You're making me a little uncomfortable. Can you stop? And if they're not going to stop, then I think it's a report, because with where we're at in the world today and people getting swatted and people getting, you know, doxxed, like, it's not something you want to mess around with. But I definitely recommend that anybody that's doing anything on the internet, you know, do what you can, do your part to control the information flow about your personal life. You know, for example, when Pebble was born, we made a conscious decision to not put his face out there. So, like, if you ever see a picture of him on my Twitter or my Instagram or anything like that, it's never his face. It probably doesn't make a difference, but it's just one of those things that in our head it was a decision that we made, because that's again, you're in control of that information flow. Hadriel asks, what's the big deal with self-promotion? We're all streamers, right? Self-promotion is a weird one. It's basically like if you went into the grocery store and started walking around yelling, hey, go over and shop at this other grocery store. It's way cooler. You know, it's a very disrespectful thing to do, I think. Because you're basically trying to tell that streamer's viewers to not watch that streamer anymore and come watch you. I think the caveat with it is a lot of people don't realize that they're doing it when they do it. So it's not always just, hey, come watch me. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's been fun watching you, but I'm going to go stream now. or hey, it's my time to go live, or hey, yeah, I'm streaming right now. Some of these more low-key things that don't add to the conversation you're having, but bring attention to yourself and your content and away from the streamer and their content. And I think it's more of, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about, where the original topic was stream etiquette. This is an etiquette thing, you know. So it's generally considered a big no-no in the streaming communities. So it's something that people just need to be conscious of. Like, if the streamer didn't ask you about your stream, don't talk about your stream. And I know I personally, even if a streamer says, hey, you know, do you stream? Throw your link in chat, do this and that. I'm still kind of weary about that because it doesn't feel right to me. You know, because I'm not there for them to shout out my stream or my YouTube channel or my Instagram. Like, I'm there to hang out and relax and maybe watch a game that I haven't played, or meet some new people in their chat, or meet them, you know, for the first time. My goal isn't for them to say, hey, go check out this guy's YouTube channel. Tingles asks, we all have bad days IRL, but as a streamer, how do you work through those bad days so it doesn't affect your stream? I think we had a conversation on that. I want to say it was Emperor Palpastream's episode of the main podcast, where, you know, I talked about, you know, there's days where, you know, I have a shitty day at work, or, you know, Pebble's teething and, you know, he's been screaming for the last 2 hours or something like that, and you're just beat. And I think one of the things is like, for me, streaming and creating content that energizes me, like, it's my creative outlet. So like when I go live, when I hit that go live button, like, all that stuff fades away, and it's just me and chat and the game, or, you know, in this case, a podcast. When I hit that record button to record the podcast, especially the solo ones, like, my mind's just like, everything that was in my mind is gone. So I think that's what you need to do, is like, you need to find a way, whether it's a routine that you do pre-stream or just the act of going live, that lets you kind of just reset the day and understand that, you know what, you had a bad day. Let's dial it back and let's have some fun, at least for an hour or 2 hours. If you can't turn that off, that's fine. Like, your community is going to be understanding. You just got to make sure that it doesn't affect your content too much. You know, if you're normally a positive, happy, fun time streamer, and then all of a sudden you have a bad day and you go into a game of Fortnite and you rage and smash a controller on the table, like, that's off brand for you. And while your community might understand, the people that are coming in to look might not. So always be attentive and pay attention to that, and make sure that whatever's going on outside of stream isn't necessarily affecting your content. Moody Gamer asks, what are your thoughts about eating on stream? So there's very few things that trigger me, that like really just like blood boiling rage trigger me. And one of them is the sound of people eating. That being said, like, if a streamer can mute their mic and eat, like, that's fine. It doesn't bother me to see people eat. I don't know what the stigma is about that. I know some streamers just don't like people to see them eat. Maybe they think they're an ugly eater or something like that. But to me, it's more of an audible thing. So if you can eat on stream without me having to listen to you eat on stream, then fine. But I understand it. I think it's a personal preference thing. So if you're comfortable eating and you're not detracting from your content by eating, like, you're not just taking a giant cheeseburger and smashing in your face and you have, you know, mayonnaise and ketchup running down your lip, I think it's fine. Emperor Palpastream asks, there are so many levels of streaming, from the casual to people wanting to be professional. If you're striving to make something out of streaming, to be a professional, what sort of pet peeve do you see as being damaging to your professionalism as a streamer? Rage is a big one. I understand that we all get vested in our games. We all get emotional, especially in competitive games. But rage is a big turnoff to me when it comes to being a content creator. I think there's communities for that. I understand that there's people that love to see someone rage out of the game. So, I mean, I guess, again, my opinion is my opinion, and it's based on the community that I'm trying to build. But if you have viewers that find it hilarious when you rage and, I don't know, punch a monitor on stream, then maybe that works for you. The other one I see is just not obeying like normal stream etiquette. If you're going in and self-promoting, or if you're you're going live tweet and you've got 37 retweet accounts that you're adding and 45 hashtags that have nothing to do with the message. Like, you don't even have a going live message. You just say like live now, then hashtag support small streamers, hashtag streamer squad, hashtag squad up small streamers unite, or something like that. I think that just comes off looking cheesy. So I would say that's something you want to avoid. And then the last thing is watch your VODs. Pay attention to what you're broadcasting. I understand that a lot of times when we are live, we can't always hear the mix, the audio mix, right? Sometimes chat will tell you when your game's too loud, or your game's too quiet, or your mic's too loud, your mic's too quiet, or if like your audio and your video are out of sync. Like, sometimes chat will tell you, but not always. Sometimes we'll just assume that it's their, it's on their end and they don't want to say anything. And then you realize that after streaming for 4 hours, your audio has been, a half a second out of sync for the whole 4 hours. Go back and watch your VODs once in a while. That works twofold, right? Because I think that having, while hiccups in your audio setups, your video quality, stream stuttering, drop frames, while I think all of that is not a reason to avoid going live. Like, if you're afraid that your quality's not going to be the greatest, don't let that stop you from going live. But watch your VOD, understand what's going on, and fix it. I see a lot of times people just have like these weird audio mixes, and this is a pet peeve of mine, where like I can hear their game super loud, but I can barely hear them. I'm not there to talk to your game. I'm there to talk to you. So in my opinion, your mic balance should always be higher than your game and always be higher than your music. And that's just to make sure that interaction can happen. You're meant to be asks, when do you decide enough is enough and ban someone in chat? This, like I said before when we were talking about trolls, like, this is a tough one because, again, you've got to feel out the streamer. Some streamers are very forgiving. They'll let people not necessarily get away with a lot, but will let people give people a couple of chances, maybe like a 3-strike system or something like that. Whereas other broadcasters, maybe even some on this team, if you say the wrong thing, you're gone. So I think understanding the streamer you're streaming, like the streamer you're modding for, is important to understand that, to understand what their level of etiquette tolerance is. I know I tend to be, I tend to give you one shot, right? And I say, hey, don't do that. That's not how we operate in this channel. And if they just continue to do it, then they're gone. Moody Gamer asks, should streamers make an effort with their appearance? Yeah. I mean, if it's hard, it's what's hard to really explain and answer to. But like, you're an entertainer, right? You're projecting yourself onto the screen. Like, just take. I mean, I'm not saying that you got to get dressed to the nines and wear your Gucci suit, but like, make sure you don't have a mustard stain on the front of your shirt from the hot dog you ate before stream. Or like, make sure you don't have. I mean, even though normally the face cam spawn, make sure you don't have like boogers hanging out of your nose or something. So yeah, I think there's a certain level of it that you want to be presentable. Again, unless your brand is Trainwreck. If your brand and your identity is you're a mess, and there is viewership for that. If that's your brand, roll with it. Why not? Let's see what else we got. Did I skip any? No. Hadriel asks, why do people not like to have age talk in chat, even though it's not against Mixer terms of service? This is a big one I see. Like, I think everybody just kind of throws this rule in their chat and assumes that it's Mixer TOS, but it's not. Mixer allows you to talk about age. You can talk about age all you want. I think that the issue that becomes is that if you have somebody like, so the way the rules work is if they're under 13, they can't have an account. And if they're under 13, they really shouldn't be on Mixer. And if someone comes in and says, I'm 10, it puts the moderators and the streamers in a weird situation, because now they have to decide if they want to crush this 10-year-old's enjoyment of video games by getting them banned off a Mixer, by reporting them for breaking terms of service. And while Mixer states it's not the moderator or the streamer's responsibility to report that, by not reporting it, you're basically throwing away the terms of service. And I think that's the big key as to why people prefer to just not talk about age, because it puts the streamers and the moderators of those chats in very sticky predicaments. And a lot of people don't like to do that, and don't like to make people uncomfortable like that, especially people that are coming and modding for them and giving their time to help them out. You're meant to be asks, why is typing in all caps considered an annoying thing? I think typing in all caps can be used tastefully to express excitement in chat. The problem is that if you let it run rampant, it just becomes really hard to read when everybody is typing in all caps. So typically people just don't like to see it at all. Moody Gamer asks, this is going, what are your thoughts about farting on stream? I think, first of all, if you're a streamer and you don't have a good way to mute your microphone, you're setting yourself up for a lot of problems. So a little insight into my setup. My keyboard is a 100 key keyboard, so I don't have a number pad. So when I'm using my mouse, the key directly next to my mouse is page up, page down. So I have page up and page down set to mute Discord and mute or deafen Discord. Serves two purposes. One, if I'm in Discord with people that I'm playing with and I want to talk to chat to thank a follow or hype up a raid or talk about something that's not related to what we're doing in the game, I hit page up, boom, I'm muted in Discord, I can talk to chat. Chat can still hear me. We're having a good conversation. Page down deafens Discord, so that kills all the sounds, all the voices from Discord. This is if I'm running an open lobby or something like that. I've pulled random people in that I don't know, that I don't play with often. The thing you have to be careful about there is that sometimes those people can say things that don't align with your brand, don't align with your content, and may even break rules or Mixer terms of service. Could be racist, could be sexist, could be just hateful, could just be disgusting. And you want to be able to deafen that real quick. And then directly in front of my mic is my Mixer, and the knob directly in front of that is my mic. So at any time, I can quickly reach up, mute my mic without chat ever knowing, and then bring it back up. If you don't have an ability to mute your mic to chat, okay, then if something happens, if you're a parent, your kid comes running in, or a fire alarm goes off. If a fire alarm goes off, you probably should get out of your house. But if you don't have a way to mute your mic, then all of that goes across, and you have no way of stopping it. You don't have control over the audio that you're sending out to your stream. And I think it's really important to have control of your content. So I would say, going back to the original question, again, if farting on stream is your brand, let it rip, man. If it's not, though, make sure you got a way to mute your mic. And then Moody Gamer also asks, what do you think about streamers using their phones on stream? Good Lord. This is one of the most triggering things ever. I saw the other day a partner streamer on Channel 1. Channel 1. The face of Mixer, essentially. Right? And a program on Mixer that gives partner streamers their shot. They're dumping 1,000+ viewers into your channel at some point. And this person was on Channel 1 for 15 minutes. And out of those 15 minutes, they were looking down at their phone, texting for 5 to 10 of those. If you're given your shot, this goes back to what we talked about in the last mini pod on numbers, right? The luck is 50% of your success. And you're given a shot like that where you're given thousands of eyeballs on your content suddenly, and you've got 15 minutes. 15 minutes to convince some of those thousands of people to stay. Granted, a lot of them are probably sitting there farming sparks. But I've been in Channel 1's chat. There's people there. There's live people there talking. And if you sell yourself in that 15 minutes, you make good use of your 15 minutes of fame. That's how you're going to build a following. But to look at your phone, and I know this doesn't even answer the question, but this just triggers me. As a streamer, it is solely your job to interact with and make a connection with your chat. Entertain the people that are there to be entertained. You can't do that from your phone. Now, granted, I'm not saying that if my wife texts me, I'm not going to take a look at it to make sure there isn't an emergency that I need to attend to. Okay? But it should be a quick glance, maybe a quick response. You know, it shouldn't be head down, texting away, or, you know, getting your selfie game on Snapchat. Should be something quick. Again, focus on your stream. You want people to follow you, make them want to follow you. Don't get me wrong, selfie game's important. All right? Because I'm a firm believer that your content should be everywhere. That includes getting them selfies on Instagram for them likes. Okay? But maybe stream time when you're live with thousands of viewers isn't the best time. Or hell, even when you're live with 3 viewers. Maybe you should talk to those three viewers. All right, last question. Curly Dino asks, what is the biggest no-no when it comes to stream etiquette? This is a tough one to answer. This is a tough one to narrow down to one thing. Because there's two sides of it, right? There's stream etiquette of the streamer. And in that case, I would say that ignoring your chat for no reason. So, like, my chat knows that when I'm in Destiny and we're playing Gambit, things get sweaty. I get into focus mode. Gambit is not a game mode that really gives you much downtime. So they know that chances are for the next 5 minutes I'm going to be focused up until this round is over. But as soon as that round's over, I'm right back to chat, catching up, talking, interacting with the people that are there watching me. So But if you're just sitting there just ignoring chat because you don't feel like reading chat, or you can't be bothered to have a chat window up, that's the biggest no-no when it comes to stream etiquette. Remember, your goal as a streamer is to make a connection with people. If you're not interacting with those people, you can't make a connection with them. As a viewer, I think self-promotion is the biggest no-no. I really do. Because to me, it just shows that you're ingenuine. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to enjoy content. You're not there to make connections with the streamer or their chat. You are there to get your name said. And even outside of self-promoting your stream, like the people that just come in just to say hi and they say the same thing over and over and over and over again. Like you being in chat should not be about you. It's about the streamer. If you're there all the time and the streamer gets to know you and the people in chat get to know you and you make friends, you make genuine connections, that's how people are going to start shouting you out. So the other piece I wanted to include into this podcast is when originally we were talking about it being streaming etiquette, I sent a message to the God Mod Part 2 himself, Insipid Skidmark. And I said, hey, this mini pod is going to be on etiquette. What things would you think that I should touch on? And he started out with saying, these are just the things off the top of my head, and then sent me a 1.5 page list. So I wanted to touch on a couple of these because I think they're important and the questions didn't cover them. One of them is understanding the features of chat. So if you're spending a time on Mixer, understand how to use Mixer's chat, how to use the whisper feature, how to tag a specific person, how to read. That's a big one. So if we give you the exclamation play command in Rob's chat that specifically lists out how to play with Rob, or we give you a Discord command that specifically lists out how to download Discord, read that. Don't ask 5 minutes later if you can play, because that's instantly going to get you under the mod skin, and that's going to get you that much closer to that timeout or that ban. Going along with that, understand what the colors mean on Mixer, right? Green is mods. Purple means that they have pro, but they have the same rights and rules and responsibilities as a blue name who is just a normal user. White names are the streamers. Yellow names are staff. Assuming you haven't changed all of your colors in the chat options. I have to cut out some of this dead air, but I'm reading through these to make sure I covered everything. I think we got everything covered. Oh, last one. Understand the difference between your and the contraction of U and R. Okay. This one drives me up a wall. And I understand a lot of the viewership on Mixer is younger. And they might not pay attention to it, or they might not care. But just think. Are you talking about something they own or something that they are? That's an important. And I'll leave you with one last piece of advice. And this comes from Insipid and Rob and I, and we've kind of talked about this before. And I think it's a really good piece of good way to think of stream etiquette and good way to wrap this up. Think of coming into a stream like being invited into someone's home. So that person has invited you into their home. How would you act and speak? Is it different than the way that you act and speak to the streamer or to their chat? Think about that. You're being invited. I mean, look, this stuff behind me, I don't have a green screen. The stuff behind me is my home. I'm bringing you into my home. Granted, I've staged my home so that there's Destiny posters and a shelf full of Destiny memorabilia behind me, but still, think of it as being invited into their home. Are you going to walk into somebody's home and just be like, hey, you're trash? Probably not. And if you are, you're probably going to get kicked out of their home for a little bit. That's how you should treat streams, I think. So I think that's going to be it for today. We ran a little bit longer than the 30-minute window than I target, but I'm really interested to see what people think about this style of format. I would prefer these to be the type of episodes that are more for the community to help them answer the questions that they answer. So if you guys enjoy this, shoot me a message in Discord, either DMs or in the One of Us Discord, or shoot me a DM on Twitter and let me know what you think. If you would rather see more of this question and answer type of stuff, then let me know. If you prefer when I just take a topic and do a 30-minute dissertation on it like I did with the Numbers podcast, let me know that too. And we'll see which way we want this to go. It could be a combination of things. Maybe I find a topic that I want to do a dissertation on. Maybe there's other ones that I want, community questions on. One that I've wanted to do for a while is to just go through my journey of content creation, like kind of in depth, because I don't know that I've ever told that story and got that story out there of where I started, what types of content I've created over the years, and where I would like that to go in the future. So, but yeah, so Twitter is at Roccityroller1. The Discord is discord.gg/one of us. That's the best place to find me. I've gotten busier and busier over the past few weeks, adding in the podcast streams and YouTube. So that's pretty much the only Discord that I can stay on top of. So hop in there. That's also where if we do ask questions for future episodes, you'll be able to ask them. I think that's pretty much the big ways to find me. Otherwise, you can find me live on Mixer Mondays through Thursdays, 7:30 to 10:30 Eastern. Mixer.com/Roccityroller. But other than that, this has been the second mini pod of the One of Us Community Podcast. So I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you rate and subscribe and review wherever you get podcast content. It just helps to bump us up on the search engines a little bit more. So people are looking for video game or live streaming and content creation podcasts. Those we bump up a little bit higher on the list. And make sure you join the Discord. It's important. And follow all of the One of Us stream teams. So you can find us at mixer.com/teams/one of us. On Friday, we're going to be recording Brew Pastor's episode of the main podcast. And then on Monday, I don't know the date, but the Monday after this comes out, we'll be releasing the episode with Tool later. That's a really good one. Tool is back with a vengeance, and him and I had a really good talk last week, so make sure you're there for that one. And we'll be doing the podcast release party beforehand, 6 o'clock Eastern, only on Mixer. So until next time, thank you all. I'm Roccityroller, and this has been the One of Us Community Podcast.